The folks who are actually going to succeed in this post-AI world are folks who are really creative. I'm personally a huge fan, and I was saying this just before the cameras went live, of people who acknowledge something and then say that, hey, this is what happened, this is how we're going to fix it.
Businesses from around the world that grow and that they thrive. They came to us and worked with our students.
Oh, they did?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, wow.
on projects. So
I love you more now. Awesome, here we are. We're doing a first live stream as well. Thank you, University of Ravensbourne, one of the most prominent universities of Britain and of the world as well. We have with us Jon Kingsbury, who's a Vice Chancellor of University of Ravensbourne. We have Simon Robertshaw, who's DVC, Deputy Vice Chancellor. And we have Vidhi Misri, who heads Student Services and New Business Partnerships and works very closely with Leverage as well. My name is Akshay. I work with Leverage alongside a bunch of my very cool colleagues who are out in the room behind the camera right now. And the reason we are doing this is, we as a company, we as an organization really believe in Ravensbourne, the university, and how the kind of experiences our students have had over the last few years, over the last 4 or 5 years of us working together. And also we believe that, and this is a bit personal, I'm personally a huge fan, and I was saying this just before the cameras went live, of people who acknowledge something and then say that, hey, this is what happened, this is how we're going to fix it. I get battered on this, by the way, because I'm very vocal about some of these things, and you've been in Delhi, so you've been through the pollution in the last couple of hours, so you know that. I'm very vocal about that. So I think as societies, as governments, as people who lead organizations, sometimes we don't acknowledge what's wrong. And until you acknowledge it, until you accept it, there's no way you're going to be fixing it. So my colleagues were clapping for you just a few minutes before, so I'll clap as well. So well done on acknowledging and agreeing to do this. I think that reflects incredibly impressively on all of you. I'll start with you, Mr. Vice Chancellor, and just if you could broadly, in a few sentences, explain the ethos behind the university, its history, why it's special, and what is your outlook on where we are going at Ravensbourne?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for hosting here and for taking the initiative to have us, and we're very pleased to be here. So I would say that Ravensbourne University is very special. We focus, and our ongoing strategy will focus on the intersection between creativity, business and technology. And that's very important for us because when we look at employers from around the world, businesses from around the world that grow and that they thrive and that they create jobs and they create value, and also they create positive change for society. It's at that intersection between business, technology and creativity that is absolutely driving that innovation. So we as a university are focused on developing that and teaching students in those areas. So for our courses, whether you're in primarily a business related course or a technology related course or a creative course, we give our students opportunities to engage with all three of those at that intersection. And that's our key differentiator compared with other universities around the world, I think. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is our motto is that we learn with industry and that industry learns with us. So lots of universities, they kind of learn about industry or they learn from industry. Our motto, learn with industry, is really important because we work with businesses in the UK and around the world at offering students the ability to work on real life projects, to immerse themselves with companies, and going forward to have placements with companies as well. And a lot of that ethos comes from our history as a design and creative university, but we're bringing that with us into the new era of Ravensbourne, which brings together business, creativity and technology as well. So that's where we're coming from. And I think the other thing is our international students are hugely important to us. The sense of belonging that everyone needs when they're away from home at the first time, the sense of integration. And the UK is a very welcoming country, and that's what I really want to get across, is that we're very lucky to have students from India, from other countries, and to make them feel special and welcome.
John, before I move forward, I would very interesting that you use the word creative enough number of times, and I think that's also the word in trend today as we move more and more towards AI, where we say that, hey, the folks who are actually going to succeed in this post-AI world are folks who are really creative, who know how to kind of throw those prompts up, who know how to think in a very unique way. With that as a backdrop, I just wanted you to spend about half a minute on when you said work with the industry. So if you could maybe elaborate a little bit with an example or two on how does this kind of really play out for students?
Yeah. So I think working with industry, recognizing firstly that companies have skill gaps and they're always looking for talent. And so Ravensbourne has a history of developing and nurturing talent and helping students to bridge the gap between learning and working in companies. So for example, at Ravensbourne, we have a team called the Careers Lab who help students, give advice to students, ranging from how do I get a job through to how do I start my own business. And I was speaking to an international student last week and saying, well, London actually is an amazing place to start up a company. Our Careers Lab can help you. So right from, depending what students and graduates want to do, there's support around careers, bridging the gap into companies. I think an example of student placement, we have in the UK a fruit juice company called Innocent Drinks.
Of course. I read the book on Innocent. It's one of my favorite books of all times.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so they're super innovative company. And
focused on design and creative, actually.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's how they create their unique business proposal. So they came to us and worked with our students.
Oh, they did?
Oh, yeah. On projects. So
I love you more now.
Please. So
I love that book.
Yeah. It's really good about how creativity drives value for brands. We do brilliant courses on brand management, of course. And the students worked with them to identify their business challenges and solve their problems as well. So there are both individual projects and also cohort projects that we encourage students to work on, because one of the things that businesses tell us when they're looking at all the AI generated applications into businesses, that it's not just what you know, it's not what you say on your certificate, but also it's how you can work, how you can problem solve, how you can use creativity to do that. And AI isn't there yet. And that's a really important skill for students and graduates to learn. So I hope that's a useful example.
No, John, I think personally, I think as soon as you mentioned Innocent, I am so impressed now. Oh, wow. I'm extremely impressed because I think it's one of the most high quality companies that have come out of the country in a long decade. Before I move forward, I'll just bring you in with you on that same question, but with a different angle. You spend as much time as you do with tens of thousands of students every single year across the entire Asia. And how do students read all the things that John has spoken about? What are their apprehensions? What are the kind of proof points that they're looking at? And how can the university, and university is doing a great job already, how can we kind of further cement that trust to say that, hey, this is a great experience. You can work with a company like Innocent, go and read about them. So what's that student perspective and how do we kind of improve it more?
I think this is what we've been discussing from last 2 days. And in simple language, students attract students. So more student stories and student experience that we can bring in front of prospective students who are interested in something like this, that helps. Yeah. So I think currently everyone's dependent on AI or what ad they see on Instagram and I got a scholarship or this is available, but they don't know what actually happens when you land and go to the university. But a student who has completed the program with Ravensbourne University or any university in the UK and is sharing their experience, that adds a lot of difference and it adds value. So what we do at Ravensbourne is, again, these projects, we talk to the students. We have got student ambassadors from different countries, and then we are working on creating stories and then launch them so that they can connect well with the other prospective students. And even Digvijay was showing a presentation in terms of how you all are tracking.
That's what I was thinking, yes.
Students, and I was just thinking what we can do together, because you also have access to a lot of students, and then ensure that the right story that could connect well to another prospective student is put on platforms, because we just don't want to go with promotion materials about scholarships or 2 years CAS,
So happy to hear that.
a 2+4, whatever. That is required as generic information for sub-agents or partners that we call, but for students that is not what is required. So yeah.
Interesting. That's a very unique answer, and I'm glad you said everything that you did.
Another thing that I also wanted to mention is that, yes, we're doing this and it's very bold, but we are here for the long term, right? Leverage, Oxford International, Ravensbourne, and we want to build that trust. We're not here just for 1 or 2 intakes to recruit thousands of students and then shut shop. We're here for long term. We want to build that trust. And at the end, what is very important is the student experience. We want to focus on each and every student and want to ensure that they have the career that they've decided and they get the support. So again, with whichever degree they do with Ravensbourne, whether it's undergraduate, postgraduate, we will ensure that they get the right kind of support with their career and personal mentoring as well.
I think that's very important. I'm glad you kind of called it out. Just a quick question for me. When was the university founded?
Oh, it's had a long history. It was founded as 2 original colleges of art and design in the 19th century, and they came together in the 1950s, and we've had an evolution over time. So our...
That's important to know, because I wanted to kind of mention that because of what Vidhi said, that and this is true for most English universities and more so for folks like yourselves, that everybody in this room might finally head out, but the university will still stand tall and they will have generations of students to come, and that's how the students need to think about it. That there are a bunch of those sham shops, if I can be polite, and then there are prestigious universities like yourselves, and we have to essentially see it like that.
Yeah. I think so. 1850s we were founded, so well over 170 years ago. So I think what's having said that, we have our roots and our core values in thinking around creativity and working with industry, but also we change with the times. And so there's been constant evolution to make sure that we're relevant and that we offer students opportunities, because if you don't change with the times, then you can become a bit academic and staid. And really, our focus is on innovation, and that's really important.
The history geek in me is actually thinking that's around the time that Britain and India were coming close in the 1850s, but I'll probably keep that off the table for my own research. But just moving in, we have had some live questions coming in, moving into the other part of the segment that people want to hear about. I'm going to essentially start with you on that. And I'm also going to start that by saying something important, that we had this CAS issue that we know about. We had some students who were stuck in the limbo, but you were not the only ones. We also had UCL, which is a prestigious university as well. I think what, at least in my view, what you did was 10x more than what UCL did, despite whatever brand and legacy they carry off in the city. And I'll speak a little bit about London as well as we move further along. But if we can very broadly just touch about what really happened and how was it kind of transpiring at your ends. We know how it transpired at our ends, but what really happened and what kind of led to it, and how we kind of fixed out the fundamentals per se. And feel free to come in, all of you.
I think just to start, you're right about, John was right about the history of Ravensbourne. It's got a long history, but I've been at the university 4 years now. When I started at the university, we probably
Which is great, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you have, you're not too deep in.
Yeah.
And you still have that outside touch, so you essentially bring absolutely right blend.
Yeah, and I've worked in 6 universities in the UK, and I have to say Ravensbourne is the best place ever. And the industry connections are second to none. But to come back to your question, so when I started, we had about 80 international students. and now we have 2,000 students international in 4 years. So that growth has been challenging for us. And so I guess that's some of the reasons why you've seen around the casters in particular issues. Our growth has been exponential. I mean, don't get me wrong, the students have a great experience through that, but that has caused some issues for us in terms of that growth. And bringing Jon in, because Jon's only been here about 6 months ago, we've identified some real issues in the university that we're putting right. We have a new admissions officer now that's come into that process. So I think we acknowledge that things did go wrong, but actually we're here now to put those right, and invest in that. It's very important for the Ravensbourne University staff to invest their time, thoroughly in this process, and we respect the issues that we created, but we're here to put those right.
So what's the total number of students at Ravensbourne overall?
About five.
Total number of students?
Yeah,
5,000.
5,000. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I think this is an important point for people who talk about diversity. So you have 2,000 international students from around the world, out of 45,000. So there is enough and more diversity for somebody who's getting to study in London. Yeah. And I just share a personal anecdote. I just got back from London about 36 hours ago, and I happened to be there on Tuesday evening for a SME for Labour event. Oh, yeah. And we have all of these SMEs with the Labour Party, and I was so surprised. In fact, I had my wife with me, and we were just looking at all the nominations. The amount of multiculturalism that London presents, I think that is absolutely second to nowhere else in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like nowhere else.
Yeah.
And we had, I just want to demonstrate a particular point, and hence I'm mentioning this. One of the, I won't name, but one of the very popular constituencies, which is 1/3 Hindu, 1/3 Muslim, 1/3 Sikh. And the councillor who's essentially winning from there again and again is a white lady.
Yeah.
And then you have all white places across the country where you have somebody from either a Muslim or a Hindu descent. And I've always seen UK as a very fair society, and London as a very multicultural destination. So in that aspect, I would would want you to kind of weave Ravensbourne in and talk about the experience that people would have, specifically at Ravensbourne, and B, and at Leverage, and we were speaking about this slightly briefly before. We see a lot of students looking at destinations outside the UK as well, in all of Europe. We've discussed some countries, Germany, Spain, France, Italy, North America, not so much right now, but a lot of other places, T&E destinations, what's happening. You have some of your peers setting up shop either in Dubai or in India. So where do you see studying in London and studying at your campus, which is at such a beautiful location also within the city? How do you see that as a plus point that students can have in addition to the industry part that we spoke about earlier?
Yeah, well, I think you're absolutely right. London is an amazingly multicultural society, and the experiences for students are very welcoming because actually the population of London is multicultural and diverse and inclusive. And so, I'm from a small town on the south coast of England where it wasn't so multicultural. I came to London to live for exactly that experience as a white chap, and I think that inclusivity is key to Ravensbourne, because although our background is in the creative industries, actually the creative industries has also been inclusive in the past. There may be neurodiversity, or there may be people with different backgrounds, or there may be people, whose origins are different. And actually, that value of inclusion is very important. So we are well located, fantastic location as part of the O2, which is a massive area of sexy area of London. London itself is the intersection of technology, finance, and creativity in the UK. It's the epicenter of that, and so we're a key proponent in championing inclusivity, diversity of thought, as well as diversity of background. And so we feel, I'm so glad that we are Ravensbourne University London, because we have those values as well.
Interesting that you mentioned O2. I think Simon could pass off for somebody who will sell a large show at the O2 as well. He could be in a football field. I think he can be a DBC. I think he can play multiple roles with that persona. But I'm gonna switch tracks again and maybe have both of you and Vedi more specifically you as well to begin with. A lot of these issues around that students face around extra visa costs and the last minute travel that they had to kind of go through. Like, what is our message to all of these students? And we know a few hundred of them might be tuning in. What do we say to them? What do we say to prospective students who are looking to apply to Ravensbourne in the next few intakes? How can we really very specifically say that, hey guys, like we got this and we know what happened and we know how we kind of started fixing some of these things, fixed most of it. But how do we ensure that, hey guys, like this was this and this did not just happen with us, it happened with UCL and a bunch of other brands as well. And we've essentially been the most forthcoming, which is why we are here. We have acknowledged it, we have fixed it. And this is why it will not happen. So what's our message as a group to students out there or partners out there who might be sending in their students very, very specifically, objectively?
I think before I talk about the message that I would want to give, I think you are in a tech company, so when tech issues are there, it's not always easy to fix it overnight. And that's what we faced at Ravensbourne for September intake. And it took us some time, and that's why the CAS delays were there. And change in the head of admissions, compliance teams, all of that. We fixed it. And November was a tester intake. We closed it yesterday and everything went smooth, and Digvijay and Ramesh can confirm if that was the case. And then we have the January intake. Also, the last minute travels and extra visa costs, I understand it happened because the students have to arrive before a set deadline, because we don't want them to miss out on the induction and the teaching element. If they arrive late, then they've already missed out on a lot of things. And hence that happened. But anyone applying for the future intakes, my advice is that start planning things in advance. I know South Asia is a last minute market. Everything happens 1 week before the deadline because there are a lot of arrangements that students have to make. They have to wait for loans and family permission. But if you plan in advance, then things are more easier and smooth for you. If it's not possible, then my India team is there, Leverage team is there. We are here to support you, and we'll ensure that everything happens in time and you arrive on campus at the earliest. But about visa decision, my personal advice to students is, Indian students, you have the privilege of applying using priority and super priority, and you must spend that extra money to apply using those services, because if you apply via standard, even if you've done 3 months before your process, there are chances that you might not get your visa. So that additional cost is something that you must spend so that you arrive on time and enjoy the overall
I'm glad you said that. It takes something to very specifically say that, hey, yeah, do spend that extra amount, and it is worth every penny. When you're essentially, I think it's worth the hassle that you will go through mentally. We've spoken about the history, we've spoken about the last 1 year, we've spoken about a bit about the future and where you're kind of leading on to. But as students come into this intake in November, January, and the next September intake through the summer, what are some of the more specific things that people can look forward to in the next 1-2 years? Any specific projects that you're kind of focused on? You did speak a little bit about industry alignment, but how we as Ravensbourne ensuring that we compete head to toe very fiercely with everybody else out there in the market?
Yeah. Well, I might, Simon, if you want to talk about industry immersion, and then I might come in on student experience.
Sure. So we're launching a new course next September. A series of courses. So with the MBA option or project management or engineering management, you'll have an additional year proposal as well. And we're calling that an industry immersion year. So in that year, you'll have an opportunity to do placement or an industry-based project. And what I mean by that is the Innocent type project, where you'll be working directly with Innocent on a specific project.
When are you launching this?
September 26th.
How many seats are going to be there?
Initially, about 150 seats.
We have seen some of the more enterprising folks in Florida and everywhere else. I haven't seen any Britain university do it.
Well, what we want to do is, because of that industry connection, we think we can offer students that opportunity that's second to none in the globe, actually.
And is this 1 year going to be a part of your post-study work visa, or you get your post-study work visa after this?
After.
Wow!
Yeah. So you get 2 years and then your post-study. So
this is incredible.
Yeah. And, as I said, I worked in other universities in the UK, and we know that placements don't always work well. I've seen it not work well. And this is different because we will have that opportunity and the connections into those industries, which other universities don't have to a great degree. So this is an opportunity, which we value, is that we give students that industry opportunity. It's not just making a coffee, doing a bit of admin work. It will be embedded in that course. And so we're hoping that students will come out of that back to India and get a great job. The bit that, to finish on in terms of my piece, is the bit that we haven't done yet is the alumni piece, because we want to connect back with the students when they come back to India and find out what they do and what their jobs are, to create a community back in India. And we've been talking about perhaps an alumni event beginning of next year to engage in those students and to engage in those companies they're working for, because there'll be global companies that they're working for. So that piece is really, really important. So that cycle is really important to us.
I think this will fly. You 100% must do this. We hosted a university at the British High Commission's residence, I think, about last evening. And we had some of their alums come and speak about their experiences. Somebody from 17, somebody from 13, and somebody was running a cybersecurity company, somebody was in the renewable energy space. And I think the confidence that it gave to everybody else in the room was absolutely... So I'm looking forward to this. I think these are two brilliant initiatives. Congratulations. There's a lot happening.
We also have a great alumni, which people don't know about. And people know about David Bowie. So David Bowie studied at Ravensbourne.
Yes, aware, yes.
And also Richard Howarth is head of design at Apple, who we gave an award to last year. And he comes over probably once or twice a year to talk to students. So the opportunity to devise something with Apple, global leader in technology, is a fantastic opportunity.
That was a very, very powerful answer. We're going to put this in the highlight reels. Thank you.
And just to build on what Simon's saying, the student experience and the alumni is super important. So we're looking for the next David Bowie, the next Richard Howarth. So
amazing.
Help us to tell your story and to make you famous. And that's what we want to do with our alumni, because it's good for our brand, but also every successful alumnus inspires 10 other people to take up education and to come to Ravensbourne or to come to London to study. So, it's really important for us that we tell people's success stories. It's helpful for them as well, helpful for their career, and kudos. So, that's an area of development. And then the student experience, we have an international vice president of the student union. We did a Halloween event last week with international domestic students, all in one space. Everyone was in disguise, so no one knew whether you were international or domestic UK student.
That's amazing.
It's really that feeling of belonging.
You're not just offering creativity, you're creative yourselves.
Oh yeah, and we run, I was doing a Meet the VC session with our international student base a few weeks ago, because we want to understand how we can improve the experience for our students.
Thanks for sharing that. In fact, one of the words that we specifically really worship here at Leverage is matchmaking. And we really, the right student needs to go to the right university at the right program for them to be successful. And I'm going to just follow up on that thread. Vidhi spoke a bit about the objective pieces around how should students apply and how can they essentially put their best application in. But just very briefly, Jon, on what's the right student cohort, what's the right student quality that you think can be successful at Ravensbourne? Who should apply, and maybe a little bit also about who should not apply, who's not a right fit?
Oh, well, I think first of all, those three qualities of Ravensbourne. So the intersection, creativity, business, technology. If you're interested in that, we'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in embracing London and enjoying London and making the most of London, we'd love to hear from you. And if you're interested in your career, in learning with industry, learning about not just studying for your time in a university, but actually outward going, interested in developing your career, fearless perhaps in engaging with and working with other people, working with companies. Those are the kind of qualities that students should think about coming to Ravensbourne for?
I think, yeah, please.
And we know that's difficult because when I do an open day, people will see Richard Howarth, they'll see Idris Elba, they'll see all these great companies. I often say to the audience, they're probably worried because to get to that point is a challenge for them.
Of course. And
I think what Ravensbourne offers is that nurturing to that point. So don't be afraid to come to Ravensbourne because you'll be working with Zurich or Innocence. We help you get to that point. As long as you're passionate about that and driven, we will help you get to that point. Because often students who come over, it's a scary opportunity to come to London, and it's it's different, but actually challenging. And when students sit in front of Warner Brothers Music and they're pitching to them, and by the way, with the Innocent project, they were pitching to Innocence Executive, and that's a scary opportunity for any of us. But we help you on that journey to get to there. So don't be worried if you're seeing these big industries.
That's a career lab, which is helping.
Yeah, and they're here, and part of the curriculum helps you through that journey as well. Yeah, absolutely.
And how many people in the career lab that we mentioned towards the beginning of the podcast?
Oh, I think 10 people work. Yeah.
And you're looking at growing this team as we move along?
Yeah, well, for this new provision that we're providing, there'll be more in the Careers Lab to give that support, but also more industry liaison people that will be bringing in those projects.
I think that's incredible. Vidhi, you wanted to make a point?
Simon has stolen my words.
Sorry.
Passion is what I wanted to say, that if you're passionate and you want to be unique and have a very creative career, don't be afraid, just come to Ravensbourne and we'll support you. So if you have the passion, that's it. Don't think about anything else. Rest, once you arrive on campus, the team would be there to support the students. Yeah.
Okay. I think people are really happy in the live about this new program. I think that's
Great.
Given the PSW came down to 18 months from 24. They're like, hey, it's -6 plus 12. So people are doing the math, and that's very exciting. But I just want to kind of, if you have any closing comments, I would love to take them. But I would just say the same thing that I began with. It's just very special for me that you heard feedback. You're here to acknowledge that, say, hey, this is how we are fixing, this is how we fixed, this is why it happened, this is what we offer. And not just that, hey, we've pulled out these couple of new things from our hat. Absolutely. This new program, this industry option. We're not just going to come back as Ravensbourne, we're going to come back as like 10x Ravensbourne. And I think that's very, very exciting. So very, very encouraged as somebody in the industry without any kind of bias to see that. But any closing comments that you have, and then we'll kind of call it a wrap.
I just have one thing to say, that if you're thinking about changing your life and your career, don't think, start now. And one common thing that I share with my students is whichever degree you go for, but the minute you arrive in London, your life MBA starts, right? With the whole experience of independence and trying to do your laundry, finding a job, that's your life MBA. So start now is what I would say.
Simon, any closing comment?
Just that,
how can people get here as amazing as yours?
Yeah, well, come to London and find out. I'll introduce you to my hairdresser. I think I think Ravensbourne's committed to this region, and we apologise for what's happened in previously, but we need to do more engagement with our teams, and we'll be sending more of our teams over to leverage to this region as well to support you, but also to support students in their journey that they might want to choose Ravensbourne. I know they have many choices, but I'd hope they choose Ravensbourne. And something to finish on, it's very scary. I've seen it with our students that they sort of arrive, this is wonderful, the building's amazing. It's a very safe campus as well. The O2, that area, it's a very safe area of London. So we welcome that, and we welcome the opportunity to work with students from this region to give them that life experience. It will change their lives when they come to university, and that's what we want. That's what we're all here to do, is to change people's lives, to create talent. And I think Ravensbourne offers us that opportunity.
John, your final word from you.
Yeah, thank you. How can I build on those two? Just exactly what Simon said, which is that for me and for all of us, going to university changed our lives for the better. And that experience is a precious one. We focus on individual students. Students are not a number to us. They're an individual, and we work really hard at making them feel welcome, but also how we teach them as well. And so what Simon said about the confidence and helping the nurturing of talent is absolutely one of our core values. So we hope that we'll do more, and we hope that, well, we will be working in the region much more. We're in it for the long game. We're committed. We're committed to fixing things when we need to fix them, to make the student experience better. I was hearing about Leverage's Net Promoter Score. It's first class. We want to match that score as well. And so, we're very happy to be working with OIG and with Leverage to improve the student experience.
And John, I would say probably there are a few hundred or thousand people tuning in right now to see this who are not in the room right now. But I just want to say I feel the sincerity in the emotion. And kind of walking the path when you say there is a meet the VC. You have taken up initiatives like the Career Lab. You are bringing industry in there. You are ensuring that every student has a unique experience. You are looking at different aspects of what would make somebody tick the entire, you would say this 1 year or now increasingly maybe 2 years for themselves, and be ready to take on the life with this life MBA that they're kind of hammering themselves with. A huge thanks for coming in and doing this and spending time with Leverage. And we are hopeful that as a consequence of this podcast, hopefully we'll have more students excited about the University of Ravensbourne and have a great experience. And then we put them on that path to becoming legends that we spoke about a few minutes back.
And the greatest thing is when they graduate, to shake their hands and you look them in the eye and you realise what journey they've come on. And it's a massive celebration for us as well as for them.
Nothing better to end this with. Thank you. Big thank you again for doing this, and have a great time on the rest of your trip across the continent.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.